Good evening on Thursday, November 20th, as we await the box office opening of one of the biggest, most anticipated movies of the year. And we're here to give you a live reaction and review of Wicked for Good out of the theater reaction. Saw it last night, but we're doing it tonight because it's a good night to get everybody ready for the big weekend, and it's going to have a big weekend. There is very little doubt of that at all. And we're going to be I think I'm going to be joined by more than one person tonight, but we'll have to see what we got and we'll have to play it by ear. So without further ado, I'm going to invite my first guest of the evening. And again, there could be more to talk about this Wicked Witch of the West and Glinda, or Glinda, however you want to pronounce it. Frequent contributor on Loud Nerdy, prerequisite nerd in every sense of the word. I welcome Raven to the show tonight. Let me move the poster out of the way. Okay, so
first time on Generation Movie.
This is the first time you're on Generation Movie, yes. And I expect Rich to stick his head in at some point. He's at a series of screenings in Philadelphia tonight, so we'll have to see.
Wow, he's lucky.
But I'm going to do my best to keep it alive until we're at. So the first thing I want to start with, this movie is going to do well. There's nothing that's going to stop it from doing well. It's almost critic-proof in every sense of the word. It's PG. It's got a lot of stuff. It's going to have merch. I've never seen more Wicked stuff than I did last night, including going to the Broadway show.
Do you have your Dunkin' container?
I didn't get my Dunkin' container.
I have a friend who went to 3 of them to get it.
They had to go to 3 different.
They were turned down at they were turned down at 2 of them because they didn't have munchkins to serve with the box.
So the people just want the fucking box. Just give people the box.
Exactly.
I don't understand.
They finally got
the
to one that just gave them the box.
Just gave them the box. Okay. We're having a run on munchkins. Anyway, forget it. The one thing I want to start with is, again, the dirty little secret of the Broadway world is that Wicked Act 1 is fantastic, and Wicked Act 2 is kind of a bitter disappointment, but only in relations to Act 1 of Wicked. So the thing is, when they decided to split this movie into 2 parts, one of the questions became, when you have a first part that's going to end on Defying Gravity and also include Popular and all the other songs in the first half of Wicked, what are you going to do to punch up the second half? This movie runs 2 hours and 17 minutes long. There are a couple of new songs, 2 new songs. And for the most part, they do a pretty good job of punching up what is a paltry second act from the Broadway stage.
Listen, I applaud you for saying it because I said it on Loud and Nerdy and got crucified.
But how did you get crucified? It's not.
I may have said that if I had paid for my ticket going to Broadway, I would have walked out in the second half. It was just.
Well, that you can get crucified for. Nobody's walking out of when you pay for a Broadway price.
No, I didn't. I paid for the ticket. I'm just saying, if I hadn't paid for the ticket, if you see the first half, you don't see the second half.
Okay. So let's talk about the movie. The movie does a very good job of they do a really good job of painting over that second half that isn't the greatest of second halves of Broadway plays, Broadway musicals. And they hit upon a couple of main focus points. One of the main focus points, and the interesting thing here is this is a promotional still for the movie where they don't have the CGI animals in the frame. But one of the things they do in the second act that's not in the Broadway musical that they do a really good job of, there is a consistent focus on the failure of the land of Oz to the animals that have lived in Oz. And that becomes a through point from the beginning to the end of the movie, where basically the animals of Oz are welcomed back after being kind of shunned and locked in cages and all these different things. So that's an interesting side hustle that they it's not really talked about in the musical on Broadway. It is more a plot point, and actually they go further by having the Ozian animals be forced into labor for making the Yellow Brick Road. So there's a whole
that's in the books.
That's in the book, yes, but it's not in the Broadway musical.
Not in the play, no. They really do amp it up, and it was appreciated. Honestly, Cynthia's song.
Well, I don't know that they had. I don't know that they had any other choice but to do that, because again, there's not a lot of sinewy material around. When they decided they were gonna, break it into 2 parts, it was never really like considered the greatest of ideas.
I still don't know if it worked, honestly.
It's going to work because both movies are going to.
I mean, it'll work. They're both going to make a great amount of money, and I will say the second half is, to me, the movie's better than the musical, which only by a little, but
it is better. They have there's a lot of good sequences. Again, Grande, a couple of things that are different. Like the interesting thing. And wait, here we go. We have a guest. Hold on, and then we're going to do comments. You're upside down, my friend. Before I put you on. I'm speaking direct. There you go. There he is.
Hey.
There's my friend. Rich Dries, this is Raven, who makes occasional appearances on Loud Nerd.
Hey, Raven. I recognize the name from when you pop and drop some comments on during a Generation movie.
We appreciate it.
Monday's a little hard for me, so when I can get on,
she's a big friend of the network, and she made occasional appearances on Loud Nerdy, and now she's making her first appearance in Generation Movie. Rich, what we started with before you got on, and we're going to get some comments, and then I'll let you ruminate on this. The dirty little secret of Wicked the musical is that the second act kind of sucks. In Broadway form, and when I say sucks, it sucks in relation.
It's just not as strong.
Act 1,
not as strong,
right?
I agree.
It doesn't have popular. It doesn't have defying gravity. It doesn't. It has things, accentuations of the Ozian legend, but it doesn't necessarily hit on all cylinders. Let's get some comments.
It's very front loaded. Yeah.
Yes. Let's get some comments. Good evening, Joe Ridgely. Oh, what happened to you? Good evening, Ken McKernan. Good evening, friends. Did they ban people singing in the theater with this one? No. I will say to you, no, that's not there.
I'm looking like I'm right side up.
You're not.
I'm not?
No.
That's fucked.
That is. Go the other way.
He's right side up.
Mexicon, haha. Hi. How are you? We appreciate you coming in. 6, 7. Anyway, there you go. I've done it for you. They just played the show 100 times during Thursday Night Football. Yeah, it's okay. So that's the dirty little secret of the Broadway musical. What I was saying, I think one of the things they've done pretty well in the movie version is they've kind of they've built it up, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So they have the secondary, the animals of Oz get a much better fate than they did in the musical version. Also they kind of make her into an action star. She's flying around Oz, hitting
a lot.
guards.
There's a lot of time where she's
smacking people left and right. The movie, however, the shocking thing is Erivo owns the role, but the second movie is really Glinda's kind of
moment to shine.
Yeah, it's Ariana Grande is very good in the second half, and her character has the most change. I relate a little bit. Remember when you were watching? Yeah, you remember when you were watching Philadelphia, and and I knew that Tom Hanks was going to win an Oscar for Philadelphia, Rich, and you did too the first time you saw it.
Yep.
But the person I think makes the most change in the movie is the Denzel Washington lawyer character, who I always thought was a much better role. I thought the Tom Hanks in Philadelphia, the other role I would say that it relates to would be Rain Man, right? Dustin Hoffman is going to win an Oscar for that role, but the Tom Cruise character is the one that goes through all the changes and comes out on the other side more emotionally mature, as does the Denzel. I relate that here because I think Grande, and again, she's a pop star, so it's, but she's very good in this movie. Now,
That
Raven,
song's
are you the girl in the bubble you don't like?
It's horrible, and the pacing literally stalls the movie.
Well, the pacing, I think one thing that Chu has done very well in most of his other films is he doesn't have pacing issues, but here
there's pacing issues in this movie.
There's pacing issues in the movie, but I don't know if it's him. I don't know if it's the script, and I don't know if it's the editing. Like, I don't know. I can't.
Well, Cynthia's song fit. Hers didn't. You literally, you walk in and you're like, this is where they're going to put her song, and the rest is all whistle, tone, and you can't hear the lyrics, and it's Ariana Grande. People will applaud, and I just waited for it to be over.
I was kind of actually caught up in how it was shot, because remember that great shot in Contact of young Jodie Foster running towards the mirror?
Yes.
That's what the entire song was, just that shot over and over and over again.
Did you not think she should have popped the bubble? The song literally, the girl's gonna pop the bubble, and she just sits there staring at her reflection. And most of the time, it's just her.
Well, I didn't understand the reflection. It was like the opposite of the Citizen Kane reflection, Rich. You know what I mean? Like, it was one of those things where I was like, Rich, and I was watching it going, I don't think Chu knows what he's doing here. And the other, go ahead.
I'll give it that I was worried they were going to really stuff Dorothy in, like, hard, and I was really happy that it was.
I think that's actually one of the better choices that the script makes.
They didn't even show her face.
Yeah, no. I think it's one of the better choices. I don't know that I need a bloodthirsty Tin Man and a weird Coleman Domingo lion.
I would be very sad. It feels like they cut some of his role. And I think he had the strongest scene in that movie.
Go ahead, Rich.
Bloodthirsty Tin Man is from the show.
No, I know. I think but again, everything's built up a little bit more because it's a lavish budget and whatever. Mm-hmm. I think for the most part, all of the extra scraping things on work. I think Bailey works. I think Jonathan Bailey's going to be a movie star. Like,
oh yeah,
he's got it. Whatever it is, he's got it.
I didn't like the design of the Scarecrow. I didn't.
I think it's a design when you have Jonathan Bailey as the Scarecrow. I think if you have when you have Ray Bolger as the Scarecrow, nobody gives a fuck. But when you have Jonathan Bailey, sexiest man alive, you make sure he's the prettiest looking Scarecrow
he's sexiest man alive, and that they did whatever they did to him, and I'm not sure what that was. It was a choice.
It's a choice. The interesting thing there is, I don't think there's any question that this movie's going to go, because it's the second one, because probably it's the last one. Although there was weird rumors online in the last 2 days that
I don't think they have the rights to Son of a Witch, because if they did, they would have. They would have done some type of
Raven at this point. I'm not going to lie to you. At this point, they could just buy the rights, and Universal's getting ready to bid on fucking Warner Brothers tomorrow morning.
Time out.
So's Netflix.
If my memory serves me, and I'm getting old, didn't Universal bought at least the rights to the first book because they were trying to develop it as a movie forever?
Yes.
Before somebody said, "Hey, let's turn it into a Broadway musical, let it run for 20 years, and then make the movie."
I think they have the rights.
But let it sit on the shelf and then make the movie.
Yeah, it was going to be a non-movie at first. So I would think there's a good chance that Universal may own rights to any sequels to the book as part of that original.
I gotta tell you the interesting
movie
thing.
Deal. That's what it feels like to me. How deals are made.
Do you think they swing towards fee more so if they do a sequel than actually sticking with Elphaba?
I've not read any of the other books, though. That's the problem. So I couldn't tell you, what direction.
Well, that's the question. Do they go with Philip McGregor's, or do they go with Frank Baum? Is the question.
Well, I that's in the. Well, I don't know. That's already in the domain, right? So that's a totally different. That's a totally different animal. What I would say, the place where this means the
Horse of
most
another
Universal. I'm going to tell you right now. I live in Orlando. The place where it means the most to Universal is that Wicked is about to become the next part of Epic Universe. That was all the talk in the they already have building permits. J.K. Rowling is fighting with Universal about it. That's on the down low, I heard, because she's none too happy about having anything near her Fantastic
She's never happy
Beasts
about
land.
anything.
Well, she's a miserable cunt.
Sure.
I'll say it. So they just announced a Wizard of Oz horror flick. Which film do you predict to make more, part 1 or part 2? I think part 2 is going to have a bigger opening weekend.
Oh, good God. It's going to have like 100 million.
It's going to be obscene. Part two, I question the legs because I think it has more, there's a lot more competition in the next 2-3 weeks. Zootopia is going to take 2 weeks. Zootopia is going to take a ton of fucking money away from it.
No,
and then you get into December and everybody waits to December 19th for Avatar: Fire and Ash, but you have other movies that are going to chip away at Wicked as we progress through. Let's see. Hello, Bella Gamer.
Do you see them
Thanks
doing
for joining us.
Disney or not Disney?
$100
Christmas sing along again?
I don't know. I think they've already done their Wicked Night on Universal. They've already had their Wicked Night as a promotion. One of the things I was reading that was interesting is like the promotional scale of the first one really dwarfs the second one because they don't need it. They didn't need to promote this one because everybody knew it was coming. What I would say where the movie succeeds, the production design is through the roof. Costume design is amazing. Every sequin that's on Ariana Grande's outfit, every cool kind of like rebel witch outfit of Elphaba is super neat. Like, if you were creating a D&D character that was a wicked witch of the West, she would be like, she has a broom, she flies, she casts spells, she has a book. Everything is beautiful in the movie. And I think that's one of the things. Like, this is a PG movie. It's a 4-quadrant movie. Last night there were grandmothers, mothers, daughters, sisters, friends, daughters, friends, grandmothers. It was all over the place. And I think, for the most part, it lands. It sticks the landing. Yeah. Right? It does stick the landing. It gets everything it needs across. Erivo is incandescent. She's just like a star in the making as we progress. And I think Grande gets, for all of the kind of gruff put on her for being one-dimensional, I think she does a pretty good job in the second act.
I don't think the movie would have got made without her. We needed her name power. I may not be a fan of hers, but we were in production hell for years.
I think the interesting casting was once Erivo was cast, everybody wanted in. Like, anybody who knows anything about Erivo's background knows that once she got cast, everybody was kind of like, we need to be in. I think Chu gets a little ahead of himself. I think there's pacing issues in the second half of the movie where everything's kind of everything's going wild. I think, one of the things that I came across, I was having reactions about certain things. Like, I loved Goldblum in the first one, but I don't know that he has too much to do here. He's much better in small doses. If he's not in a Jurassic Park movie.
I like the song. That's one of the stronger songs of the second half. So,
well, the song, yes, but how do I say this? The choice behind he should be a flim-flam con man. And it's more like, I'm a mischievous idiot. You know what I mean? Like, and it's a tone thing. It's a tone thing as opposed to, the idea that all these people in Oz are like, I think one of the punch-ups that happen in the movie, the way the movie is paced and the way it's set up, is a direct answer to the current presidential administration we have. And I think some of the things that were in the book, they punched up a little bit more because they were trying to get across
They saw the allegory and they went for it.
They saw the allegory and said,
people that are watching it that are brainwashed ain't gonna see that anyway. They're just gonna scream it was.
Well, I don't know that they're gonna go see the movie anyway. It's got a green witch in it. They don't like people of different colors. Anyway,
green energy, green witches. They don't like any of it.
I will say though,
this was my comment of the night last night. I feel Madame Morrible, right? She goes full Moga. She's all about making Oz great again. And I'm not gonna lie to you. I think we should have. I really wanted the monkeys to just drop the bitch. So I was like, and I know it's a PG movie, we can't do it, but just having the monkeys drop her and go,
hey, no, the Disney rule. If you don't see them die, you just see a shadow. It's fine.
Yeah, but they could have done Disney rules, but I understand what you're saying. But again, I think they went with the allegory, they went for it, they punched it up. Everything's kind of punched up, but the set design is amazing. Everything's kind of cool. The new songs are okay. I think you're right, Raven. Afelba's is better than in the Bubble.
Like I would have rather they gave more like a better song to Bach or another song to Bach or another song with Nessa. I also feel like Bach was drastically cut from this movie. Like he is one of the best scenes, and you hardly see him.
Bach was getting a lot of grief in my screening.
Well, I also thought that there was an issue. They got rid of that one scene from the first movie.
Right. Bach was getting grief for being an unrealistic little person. Like, I had one lady sitting next to me going, I don't know why you think you're running to Oz to tell Glinda that you love her and stuff. She's not going to love you, honey. And that was a direct quote. And I thought that was funny.
I stand behind my belief that Wicked does not tell a very good story or have a very good moral to it, honestly. So yes, you're right.
Well, I in that case, the Wicked musical doesn't, but I would say because
I don't think the movie does either. They didn't do anything to fix that.
Movie ends on a much higher moral ground than the musical does.
Does it, or is it just smoke and mirrors? Because
it's not smoke and mirrors.
I'm not trying to give reviews here or thingies here, but
it's not.
Is Glenda really good at the end of that movie? Honestly,
I think she is. She's changed. I think she is. I think part of beefing up.
I think she's happy her friend's dead and now she can.
Listen. Part of beefing up the animal stuff. Part of beefing up her specific plot points where she changes. Like the first time she goes to the wizard and the wizard's like, talks them into whatever's happening with the pink and purple lights. The pink and green lights. And then the second time she goes to the wizard and has the forceful whatever. There is a change in her in the sense that beefing up the animal rights aspect of the Ozian world gives her a moral high ground that is not present in the play because the musical ends ambiguously with Afelba and Fiyero escaping. But it doesn't end with Galinda like saying, not only am I going to take this and get all the magic and be good, I'm going to get rid of Miss Morrible. I'm going to put her in a cage because we have plenty of cages available. Gives her that sequence, which is it's not part of the original musical. Then the animals all being incorporated back into Oz is a sign of big change.
But she still lets her friend be the wicked queen, the wicked witch, though.
But that's because her friend demands it of her. It's not Galinda's choice.
I've never enjoyed the end of Wicked. I just find it to be a really.
I understand, but I'm just saying by beefing
kids.
But what I would say is the beefing up for the movie version at least gives Galinda a moral place. She is at a higher ground. She does tell the Munchkins, yes, she was my friend. Yes, we've changed everything, and also, oh, by the way. All of the animals of Oz are going to be reincorporated. They're getting their jobs back. They're going to talk again. Like, it's a totally different place from the end of the musical.
Animals getting their jobs back. Did you see Peter Dinklage's name on the credits? Because I didn't, and they did show him talk, or did they just use a capture from the
probably
first
use the kit? I didn't see him in the credits
because I didn't see him on the credits at all.
So. It's Peter Dinklage is
Peter Dinklage is pretty tired. He probably just sent Cho like a voice text. He was like, "Here it is."
Ariana needs to eat a cookie or 1,000 and a few burgers. Yeah, she's a wisp of a girl. Like I don't
ain't
judge.
gonna make fun of anybody's size.
Yeah, we don't do that here. I think for the most part, if you like the first one, you're gonna like the second one. I will say it doesn't have any of the signature songs of the first one, which again is the
There's
dirty
a lot
little
of
secret of the
reprisals.
actual musical. There are reprisals, but that one of the things
I would have took the reprisal of How I Feel or the good feeling feeling good more than that new song by her. I think if they had done that in a softer tone, I think For Good
is where the movie earns its money and where people are going to be crying, and there was sobbing in the theater I was at. So I'm all for it. I think it works for the most part. I think they stick the landing. Also, in beefing it up,
they were going to stick the landing either way and make money.
Well, they were going to make money. I don't know if they were going to stick the landing enough to be in the Oscar hunt. And this movie now is definitely in the Oscar hunt. Would you agree, Rich?
Oh God, yeah. The first thing I said, I saw it with my podcast partner Natasha, and first thing I said to her as we were walking out, I was, so another 10 noms or what? And
I'm going to say
I don't know
9.
if it gets 10 noms, but it definitely gets some.
Well, the problem with the 10 noms, Rich, is we were looking at there are going to be 3 or 4 movies with at least 10 noms. This could be one of those years where we've unlike anything we've ever seen, with 3 or 4 or 5 movies that are all kind of bunched together in all these categories, which is again not a place.
Let me ask you this.
Actually,
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Raven.
My biggest thing that came from this is a friend of mine's kid. They went to see the opening, came home, and his child was very upset that they made the lion a villain. I had to explain to her that they're not a villain, they're a victim, and why. But it also gave me the moment of realizing that's Coleman Domingo, and I did not know that at all.
His name's Burr. Burr the Cowardly Lion. Anyway,
I don't know if they do a good job with him personally. I have a kid.
Again, I think that sequence with the fire, and let's go. We both have problems against her. Fuck her, is a weird moment.
Yeah. Well,
go ahead. What were you going to say, Rich?
I was going to say, last year we saw Erivo nominated for Best Actress and Ariana Grande in Supporting. Are we going to see that flip this year, or are they going to stay the same?
I think they stay the same.
Okay.
I think they stronger performance.
I think they stay the same. A stronger performance doesn't matter. I think Erivo's in the movie more is where they're going to go with that. And that unless they push both for Best Actress, and that would be a mistake. No,
I think that would be bad.
No, that'd be bad.
It'd be a mistake.
Already, I can tell you, because I just literally walked out of the movie an hour and 15 minutes ago. Amanda Seyfried most definitely has a nomination for Best Actress for Testament of Anne Lee, which was it was just a fantastic performance. The movie's not coming out until the middle of December or so, but definitely put that on your radar if you're an Oscar person.
You have, okay. Well, I would say, I think the interesting thing is I think Grande has a shot if she's supporting actress. Mm-hmm. I don't think you can take Grande seriously best actress, because I just think there's
too
many.
On who she goes against.
No, it really doesn't. It's more along the lines of, I think a little bit of what you're saying. Raven, you kind of hit upon it when you said we needed her to get the movie made, right?
Yeah.
And I think actors and actresses will tend to look at that and go, she's great and I love her and she's really good in the movie, but I don't want her
if they put her against Mia Goth from Frankenstein.
Mia Goth's not getting nominated for Best Actress.
She's not getting nominated for Best Supporting.
She's not getting nominated for Best Supporting Actress. The only nomination that comes out of Frankenstein will be Elordi, and he's going to have trouble winning too. But what I would say for Wicked, for good, I don't think anybody's going to come out disappointed. I think it's going to have its people that really love it. I think for the most part, it's a stuck landing and it's a successful sequel because they get around the foibles that is the dirtiest secret that we talked about earlier, that the second half of Wicked is
I went in with a complete
putrid.
bias and I enjoyed
putrid,
it.
but just not as good as the original.
Yeah, just not
as good as the first act of Wicked, which has both popular and like that's the problem.
Every
we're running
good
up
song
against
in the whole play. Our musical.
Well, no. It's not just every good song in the whole play, Raven. Popular and Defying Gravity, they so clearly illustrate the characters, both characters, so well.
Absolutely.
And they, the epitome of both characters are those two songs. And when you don't have those to fall back on, you have to, the songs they've beefed up. I don't even know, I think maybe Erivo's song gets nominated for best original song, but I'm not sure. I wouldn't put money on it. One of them is going to get nominated. I just don't know which one would be my, you know what I mean? Like, I think one of them is going to get nominated for something, but I also don't think either one is a lock to win. And to be honest, if I'm being honest here, I think it's the other witches that are going to win best song. I think it's going to be a K-pop Demon Hunter song. I think it's going to be Golden, or you know what I mean?
That came out of nowhere. Everybody loves it.
Yeah.
So
it's got the underdog story going for it.
It's got an underdog story going for it. It's got the idiot. It's got the idiot complex of like Netflix not realizing how fucking movies work, and it's not realizing people want to see movies in giant gaggles. Watch the cave paintings on the cave screen.
Do you think it'll get better with them opening their Netflix? I know you're from the area too, and I know Philly's opening one of those Netflix.
No, it doesn't. It's not going to get better. And actually, I had spoken up about the. I was just reading about it, and it's again, there was a huge article this weekend that came out from the trades, where basically one of the people that's exhibitor is making major complaints about the idea that we're going to only release Narnia on IMAX, like that it's essentially the movie's going to only be released to 2% of the screens in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a big talk about like her Greta Gerwig's. What I thought was a really cool contract is actually not cool, nor will it help theaters that much, because it will not play on any screen that is not IMAX.
What's hilarious about that is, if you think about it,
is that legit? That's not like a rumor, right?
No, that's
trades reporting.
It came out in the last 2 days.
Thank you for completely just busting my bubble for seeing Narnia, JW.
Sorry.
What's funny about that, you can see Narnia on the biggest screens possible or on a crappy tiny screen in your home. There's no in between on that.
There's no in between. And
it's
so Netflix. Yeah, Netflix still sucks. They're still morons.
Did either of you find the movie to be dark by any chance?
Wicked for good?
Yes. Yeah. Not like dark in tone. I meant like dark in like color wise. Like there are points where it was very hard.
Like the theater needs to see the put in a new bulb in their projector.
Possibly.
It's a little bit. I think it's overshot. I don't want to. I think it's going to get nominated for all the technical, so I don't want to say anything super bad. Costume design, production design, probably
costume and productions.
I think it's 9. I think it's 9 or 10. I think, but we're going to have 3 or 4 movies that are 9 or 10. One battle after another. Sinners, maybe Hamnet.
Are you a little bit worried with Sinners coming out so early in the year?
What was that?
Are you a little worried about Sinners coming out so early in the year that we're losing steam on people?
Sinners ain't going to win. Sinners ain't going to win. It's my favorite movie of the year, but it's not going to win. But just the idea that we're getting a vampire movie set in the Deep South and it's going to get nominated for Best Picture, that's a win for me. So I'm good. You know, I if I had to put money in today, one battle after another, but I have to see Hamnet because that movie looks spectacular. Like,
It is.
I did you saw it? You're
Yeah.
not allowed to talk about it.
I saw it at a festival, so I think I can. I haven't written my full review yet. It's amazing.
But is it a actor movie? Is it like
Oh
is
God,
it
yeah.
Hamnet? Is it Hamnet is going to win Jessie Buckley an Oscar, and we're all going to be super happy about Jessie Buckley getting her Oscar, and then
She's up against, like I said, like I just said a minute or two ago, Amanda Seyfried performance here. There's a couple good strong supporting performances in Marty Supreme, both male and female, in addition to Timothy Chalamet most likely getting a acting nod as well for lead.
I think it might. I think actor. I think is starting to sway over. I think it's going to be. I think it could be our boy Ethan Hawke's year. Is what I'm. Ethan Hawke, maybe. I don't know. We could talk about Oscars all night. Wicked. Let's end Wicked, the Wicked review, and let anybody who wants to. You saw what other movies did you see this week before we go? And then you and I have to talk about something. So.
Yeah, I know. I have to talk to you about something too. Marty Supreme and Testament of Ann Lee were the two that I had last night and tonight. God, man, we are eating good for Oscar season this year.
Yeah,
I've seen like all the major contenders now, with the exception of Jim Cameron's little thing. And I don't know if I'm going to see that before our voting deadline or not.
It's a 3-hour, 19-minute little thing. You're adorable, Rich. 3 hours, 19 minutes. I saw the
indie film.
His tiny $300 million production budget film.
You just let me know how Ferngully 2 goes.
Right, we're up to Ferngully 3 now. Raven,
I don't know. I haven't even seen the first one.
Oh,
it's worth it.
It's worth seeing. Raven, thank you for joining us tonight. You have a great day.
Thank you. It was nice meeting you, Rich.
Nice meeting you too, finally.
Stick around in the green room. Okay, so a couple things.
I'm sorry, I'm like eating because I haven't eaten since like 3 o'clock this afternoon.
I'm not worried about that. So Wicked for Good, well done, worth your time. Again, if you like the first one, it's going to stick the landing. What I wanted to talk to you before we go, Rich, and before we talk online and talk what we need to talk about, we lost a friend the last 2 days, and I just wanted to take the end of the show to compliment Greg Corrin on being a really great person.
Yeah, I found this out like this afternoon.
Me too.
As I was like trying to finish up work so I could get out to this screening.
I don't mean to hit you with it. I wanted to get I want to get a video reaction to you and I because we both knew him for different reasons. Like I knew him because I would go on a radio show with him to talk about movies and promote the theater I was at and all those different things. And he was always kind and generous to me. And then I also knew of him because of like various short films that we spearheaded at the Endless Mountains Theater. He was usually involved in them.
Yeah, I first met Greg when I was writing for the Times Leader. I was freelancing for them late 90s. He was part of a improv sketch comedy group called One Laugh at Least that played throughout the Wyoming Valley in Wilkes-Barre, Scranton, Pennsylvania. And so I was interviewing them. He was very much about making fun of himself, saying, yeah, I'm the funny fat guy. Every comedy group needs a funny fat guy.
Needs a funny fat guy.
Yeah. SCTV, you had John Candy. Original Saturday Night Live, Belushi, so, and just because he did so much local theater and I was friends with people in local theater, our paths constantly crossed. He actually was one of 2 people who was able to actually get me up onto a stage to do some stuff. He was in so many short films that our mutual friend Jeff Fowler directed.
Yes.
Most people, if they've seen his work on YouTube, have seen the Hanabonics sketch, which he told me after he moved to Las Vegas, he was taking a meeting with a person who who he was hoping to get, take him on as a client, as an acting agent. And he's talking with this agent woman, and suddenly the secretary comes zipping down the hallway going, I remember where I saw you. You were in Hanabonics. This is out in Vegas. The secretary just happened to be from the Valley.
It's one of the greatest NEPA
celebration.
Yes, art, a celebration of art and talk and NEPA all in like a
Greg wrote that with Chris O'Donnell, who is also a very, very funny guy, former road comic, now a lawyer, and I believe a judge. Greg, I've had so many times of just hanging out with Greg at various acting things, just various whatevers.
Well, my things with Greg were always like, he was always very kind. He got a lot of radio gigs in the Scranton area, and when I was a young whippersnapper, where I was trying to make a locally owned and operated movie theater work, I had to go out and pound the pavement and hit as many radio shows and radio things, talk to as many people about movies and why things were important and why going to a locally owned and operated theater was important, and all these. That was one of my things that I had to do. And Greg was one of the people that would, when I called him and said, can I come on your morning show? With, he had a partner who was a fantastic young actress in the area, and he would invite me on his show, and we would talk about movies or talk about whatever the pop culture was of the day.
I would help him record comedy bits for his show on the One Country station.
Yes.
Power Tool Pete and Mrs. Fix-It. Mr. Fix-It used to be here, but then he ran off to the Caribbean. So now it's Mrs. Fix-It. How are ya?
But he was a great guy. And the interesting thing is, there was never a bad word about him. He's had a rough last year where he lost the love of his life, and he kind of got crushed by society a little bit, like just by having her healthcare issues came into play, and but he never let it get to him where he wasn't funny or talking people up or respecting people or telling a story that made somebody feel better about themselves.
Yeah. He paid me, I think, the biggest compliment. When he was turning 50, he wanted a roast. He wanted to be the centerpiece of a roast. And he asked me to host it. He goes, Rich, comedy. You know what an old school roast is. You know that they're going to, I want them to make sure that they drop every single bad word in existence. And believe me, I did in my 7 minutes. Woo! And then,
the roast is stuff of legend. Everybody.
Well, there was 2 roasts though. There were 2 roasts.
One before he left for Vegas too, right?
Yeah, the second one was when he left for Vegas. There are clips of it online because I was watching them after I heard the news, just because I was like, I didn't want to quite wrap my head around the fact that somebody so full of life and energy had moved along from this plane. However you want to say it.
However you want to look at it.
Yeah, I just needed to see him alive like that. And my piece is 10 minutes long on that one. And there's about 4 jokes I would cut in retrospect. Watching it again, I was like, ooh, yikes.
That one didn't land. Fuck.
But there were a lot of other ones that the place was just like rolling with it. So I would be remiss not to bring him up before as we close. I wasn't sure if you had heard or not, so I was going to wait till afterwards and go.
Yeah, no. I've already talked to Fowler.
Okay, because I called him.
I already reached out to Fowler. He said you would reach out to him. It turns out our little podcasting world is a lot smaller than we let on. But he was a great guy. He was he had just gotten a job in Vegas working at the Universal horror attraction, and I had reached out to him because there were days when he was just down.
He was
And
he was president of SAG's Vegas chapter. I think.
Yes, yeah, he was. He had just gotten reelected, by the way, too. And the other, but I had sent him a message and said, I know you just got this Universal Horror gig, and I know it's not opening to a certain date. I know you can't talk about it, but I want you on Loud and Nerdy because you're one of my favorite people to talk to. And you invited me when you had the radio, and I know you've been feeling down, but I want you to know when you're ready, you're invited anytime. And he sent me a message back where he's like, I'm not ready right yet, and I can't talk about the thing I want to talk about, and I'll get back to you. And so we didn't connect, but I do have it that I reached out to him and said, hey, keep your chin up. You got a lot going on, and I know it's been rough. And I know how sometimes the wheel of life can just kind of grind you up. And
they were planning, a memorial for his wife Carrie, who passed away earlier this year. I think in December they were shooting for it here in Pennsylvania, and I was really looking forward to seeing him, to give him a big hug, kiss on the cheek, grab his butt. The usual goofiness that we do. In fact, you can see me grab his butt in the
nothing wrong with that.
The roast.
We don't go against consenting adults. Like I said, I thought I didn't actually. I never got.
I'm devastated that I don't have one more chance to just tell him a really saucy, dirty joke, or just to make him laugh, or to have him make me laugh again.
Yeah, again, he was a joie de vivre kind of guy, like a zest for life. And the most interesting thing to me is, all the things on his page today are just all of these people this outpouring.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to write anything yet. I have some pictures.
I put up the Hannibonics thing on my page just because everybody should see it once in a while, especially if you're from NEPA. You need to see it. And like I said, my connection to him was not. I didn't get to be on stage with him. I did improv comedy, but I was the funny fat guy in another improv comedy group. So, and it was really funny. But he was a great guy. Greg Corn was one of one. And,
yes. One of God's own weird creations, and we love them.
Yes, and we'll miss him kindly. Thank you for joining us. Sorry, I got a little maudlin, but it's okay because you're going to be crying at Wicked for Good anyway. You're going to be weeping, watching the two ladies do what they need to do.
And Greg would be highly, highly embarrassed by all of this, I think. Yeah,
I agree. And I also think it, so thank you for joining us tonight. Rich, where you got stuff coming up? We are, just so everybody knows, I'm on a boat next Monday night. I'm sorry, I kind of caused a lot of scheduling concerns.
You're on a boat.
I'm on a motherfucking boat. We will have 3 bang-a-rang episodes of Generation Movie to end the year. I promise. And they will be coming in December. But where can people find your stuff, Rich? And what do you got going on?
All of my writing can be found at filmbuffonline.com. We got a Facebook page that I try to keep updated as well with some non-website stuff. That's always fun. So give us a like and a follow. I do 2 other podcasts. One is called The Big Picture Podcast. I do with my very best friend, Natasha Bogutsky. We haven't done one in a while, but heavens knows we are actually recording one on Sunday where we will be talking about, her and my reaction more to Wicked for Good.
Wicked for Good.
The other podcast I do is I usually appear on and produce the Film Scribes, which is the official podcast of the Philadelphia Film Critics Circle. We have one podcast out that just came out about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, where we talked about some of the favorite films that we all, 6 of us saw at the Philadelphia.
How many Philadelphia film critics does it take to screw in a light bulb? That would be a good Greg Corn joke.
Too many. but there were six of our members were on the show talking about a wide variety of films that we saw that we all really liked, including things like Hamnet and The Testament of Anne Lee, and a few other things that are coming your way this year, or just a few other things to keep an eye out for. We're going to have a new episode coming up probably this weekend. Depends how quickly I can finish editing it. And it's just a talk between me and one of our other members, Dan Tabor, about Chainsaw Man and the rise of the popularity of anime.
Excellent.
So that was a fun hour-long conversation. Dan is on a geek level similar to me. You wind him up and let him go. It was a lot of fun.
And if you like, we're starting to get some subscribers, people commenting, watching. If you're new to the network, Indian Escape Network, we try to unite creatives together. Rich and I have been friends for a long time. We're doing good work with our partner in crime, Joe Ridgely, and my friends on Loud Nerdy and this show, Generation Movie. If you like what you see, we have a YouTube channel. Please like and subscribe. It means absolutely the most to us. If you like, subscribe, watch our stuff. If you watch something and you like it, please. We have a Facebook page as well. The Indie Escape Network, Loud Nerdy, also has its own Facebook page. But all of our things are there. We're getting also ready for Wham. Whamageddon is coming up December 1st. Last Christmas, that's going to be happening. So there's a lot of cool things happening on the Indie Escape Network, and we appreciate you tuning in and getting all your movie reviews from two guys that we love movies more than it's just
most
something
things.
the most things. It's a part of us. Thank you for joining us tonight. I want to thank Raven for showing up and giving a completely amazing kind of take that's not as nerdy as both Rich and I, but also like has an unmistakable kind of like Raven is her own thing, and I appreciate her so much. She has no idea. Thank you for joining us tonight. Have fun in Oz, folks. It's gonna have a big weekend.
Yeah,
and we'll see everybody when I'm not on a boat in 2 weeks. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Wait, it didn't end. Hold on. Now, bye.